The position Wei Bai gave him was not that of a project team leader or some other kind of worker, but the equivalent of Jiang Xiang and Yu Haguang's positions at Lingxi. This wasn't a pie falling from the sky. This was a ladder to heaven falling from the sky. Brother Bai. Lu Rini sensed that this would be a major turning point in his life. Shall we find another place to talk properly? Chapter 589, Code. Numbered row. It was already past 11 o'clock by the time he finished talking with Lu Rini and returned to the dorm. Lu Rini's abilities and experience in game production perfectly met his requirements, and his personality was very direct. The two of them got along very well. Back in the dorm, Wei Bai bought fried chicken fillets for his 3 good big sons as a late-night snack. While eating their snack, the good big sons asked him where he had been. Wei Bai didn't hide it and told them about his idea to make a game. The 3 of them were very interested after hearing about it. Zhou Yin, in particular, after hearing Wei Bai's concept, wished the game was already made so he could start playing it. Then do you want to join and make the game together? Wei Bai asked. Me? Zhou Yin pointed to his own nose. Me? No. Making me go to work is worse than killing me. Zhou Yin had a very clear understanding of himself. I have no ambition. I just want to eat, drink, and be merry for the rest of my life. It was a joke. His family were local Haichang residents who had benefited from demolition and relocation. He himself was a handsome, popular internet celebrity who could earn money easily. Why would he torment himself by getting a job? I've already thought it all out. After graduation, I'll travel the world with Yuan. By the way, his girlfriend was just as unambitious as he was and shared his extreme talent for spending money. Wei Bai was very supportive. When the time comes, you two could be couple travel bloggers. Zhou Yin thought so too. Although being an internet celebrity also required filming videos, he had a company. He only had to film, not edit, and he didn't have to worry about things like ad placements. I was born with good fortune, Zhou Yin said smugly. I can earn money while having fun. Wei Bai thought about it. That's right, this guy's life was incredibly easy. But putting himself in his shoes, would he be willing to live such a life? Wei Bai thought about it carefully and decided he wouldn't. He was actually someone who liked a challenge and preferred the additional feelings that came with success. Of course, he also liked to go out, have fun, and see the world, but that was something he would do on vacation. It was their 3rd year of university, and everyone was planning for their future. Many classmates had started applying for internships at major companies since their sophomore year and were even busier in their junior year. Some students were working hard to boost their GPAs, hoping to be recommended for graduate school. Pancon was one of them. He had already decided to take the postgraduate entrance exam. His plan was to be recommended for graduate school at his own university, and after graduation, he would use the talent introduction program to return to his hometown and become a civil servant. On the other hand, Chauer, who had been thinking about postgraduate studies since his freshman year, had changed his mind and was preparing to enter the animation industry. Looking at it this way, the 4 of them in the dorm got along very well, but their pursuits were actually very different. One was upright and honest, solely focused on developing his hometown. One seemed to love the spotlight, but actually cared the least about others' opinions. His philosophy on life was just to be happy. One was cautious and shy, but was, in fact, a thorough idealist. And him, Wei Bai thought, what kind of person am I? It seemed difficult for a person to summarize their own personality. So, Wei Bai clicked on the profile picture of a tabby cat. Little turtle. Xia, what kind of person do you think I am? Xia. Little turtle. An objective description from friend's perspective. This time, Xia didn't reply instantly. Wei Bai waited for a while before finally receiving a few words. Xia, wise and brave. Wei Bai stared at these 4 words and was amused. Then, he thought gleefully, this is really high praise. A few days later, Wei Bai received a message from Lu Rini. The entire 12-person team from the creative social interactive game group, without a single exception, was willing to follow Wei Bai. This news excited Wei Bai, and he spent several consecutive nights discussing the game's design with Lu Rini. After New Year's Day, Wei Bai and Lu Rini finalized the direction, and the game, tentatively titled Code Number 0, officially began programming development. Because the Lingxi Industrial Park had not yet been built, the game team continued to work at the Maker Center. There were many things to handle on the Lingxi side, so after providing the initial design document, Wei Bai didn't involve himself much with the game team's affairs. Soon, it was winter break. The game team, still students, went on break as usual. When the new semester started, they threw themselves back into the fray. In March, Wei Bai was busy overseeing the renovation of the Lingxi Industrial Park, occasionally checking in on Lurini's progress. When he went to the Maker Center in May to inspect the results in person, he saw that the progress of code number 0 had already reached 1/10. Besides the speed, the quality also astounded Wei Bai. Especially in terms of art, the modeling and other visual content far exceeded Wei Bai's expectations. He looked at the game's lead designer, Lurini, and felt deeply that he had struck gold. We also have to juggle our studies, and with graduation season upon us, several of the seniors have to focus on their theses, Lurini said, not very satisfied with the current progress and quality. Once the seniors graduate in June and summer break starts in July, we'll definitely have to pick up the pace. Wei Bai remembered talking to Lurini about this, agreeing to prioritize quality over speed, that finishing within 3 years would be fine. There's no need to rush, is there? Wei Bai asked in a low voice. Lurini shook his head. It's all about cost. Wei Bai. He could almost see the shadow of Brother Chui in him. Don't push them too hard. When we hit a milestone, hand out bonuses, Wei Bai said lightly. I have a little money. Having spent more time with Wei Bai, Lurini found himself somewhat disapproving of Wei Bai's business philosophy. What kind of entrepreneur throws money around like this? Even a grand vision needs to have its limits. Look at this art, it's so crude. And this modeling, it looks like it came from a template. Lurini chattered on. How can this be acceptable? If we give bonuses for this, Digital Zero will be ruined. Wei Bai? Sorry, I really can't tell. He had always known he had a blind spot when it came to aesthetics, but he hadn't realized it was this bad. Fortunately, his aesthetic sense for people was fine, otherwise wouldn't he be like the man who didn't know his own wife was beautiful? Thank goodness, thank goodness. After feeling relieved, Wei Bai thought it over seriously and decided to respect Lurini's professional expertise. Besides, he knew that Lurini was very good to his own people. He was just strict when it came to work. You should take it easy too, Wei Bai advised. Don't keep pulling all-nighters. He used to think Lurini was a sunny and cheerful guy, but he never expected him to become a completely different person at work, with a reckless, all-or-nothing attitude. Wei Bai considered himself quite a grinder, but even he was intimidated by Lurini's work pace. Was he like Jiang Xiang in the lab, refusing to leave until he got results? I'm not pulling all-nighters, Lurini said, sensing Wei Bai's concern. I sleep every night. Wei Bai. That's terrifying. Gotta go. Brother Bai, Lurini called out to him. When can we move to the industrial park? A few of the seniors are about to graduate and need to decide where to rent an apartment. Wei Bai turned back and smiled. September will be no problem. As a newly minted senior, Wei Bai, along with classmates Xie and their colleagues, held a moving ceremony. Of course, it wasn't the two of them moving, but Lingxi Tech, 0-hour games, and Macao culture. Over 200 people moved into different floors of Building A1 in the Lingxi Industrial Park, yet the park still felt very empty. This industrial park is huge, with several buildings, Yu Heguang said after settling his team in. He found Wei Bai and expressed his concern. Can we really support all this? Don't worry, we'll lease out the extra space for now. Later, when the companies grow, these few buildings might not even be enough. We might have to expand. Wei Bai said seriously, think about the Jingo Industrial Park, the Haimeo Industrial Park, or even Naobao Tech. Mentioning the first two didn't quite register with Yu Heguang. But at the mention of Naobao Tech, as Yu Heguang looked at the modern, futuristic industrial park, he suddenly felt that Lingxi was worthy of it. Even Naobao Tech had its own building, and Lingxi's prospects were much better than Naobao's. It wasn't the first time he'd realized how big the park was. After all, it was named Lingxi Industrial Park, a company asset registered under their name, and it came with a 1 billion yuan bank loan. At the time, when Wei Bai had proposed the idea, Yu Heguang had been vehemently opposed. Although his opposition was overruled, even now, looking at the massive park made him a little anxious. This wasn't the scale of the startup he had imagined. But now, looking at the confident Wei Bai and the surrounding park, Yu Heguang stopped saying useless things. He thought to himself that 2 years ago, when he was toiling away in a cramped lab, he never would have imagined today. Perhaps in another 2 years, he would feel the same way he did today. This whole huge industrial park belongs to CEO Wei. An employee from 0 Hour Games, just starting his junior year, felt a bit overwhelmed sitting in the spacious, bright office. The office he was in before was just over 20 square meters, and he constantly had to ask colleagues to tuck in your chair just to get by. Now, their company, 0 Hour, occupied a quarter of a floor all by itself. This spacious territory, the comfortable desks and chairs, the restrooms cleaned by a dedicated janitorial staff. What kind of startup has such a great office environment? It belongs to Lingxi, Rennie explained. Our company has to pay rent, although they got a 50% discount on the rent because of their relationship with CEO Wei. But this was all cost. 0 Hour had to produce results quickly and secure series of funding to relieve CEO Wei's financial pressure. As the leader of Project Zero, Rennie felt he had to update the work plan and pick up the pace. With this in mind, he looked at his innocent and bright-eyed junior. The junior was still trying to make small talk with him. Oh, right, this place is called Lingxi Industrial Park. Paying rent was also fine. Renting a place here was much cheaper than in the city. Besides, Haicheng had talent subsidies, and the company had housing subsidies. Once he graduated, he could rent an apartment in a nearby complex and start his life as a high-level professional. CEO Wei is amazing. The junior's voice was full of admiration. He's only 1 year older than me, but he's already a nationally renowned entrepreneur. Rennie smiled. We're lucky to be able to work with CEO Wei. Once this game is out, you and I will be like the founding team of Lingxi, achieving financial freedom. Financial freedom. Logically, the junior knew this was just a carrot on a stick, but emotionally, he found it incredibly appealing. Besides, when other bosses dangled carrots, they were usually vague and unrealistic. But the one brother Liu was dangling was completely grounded in reality. The founding team of Lingxi was beyond financially free. They were destined to be big names on the Forbes list of Greater Xia, right? He imagined Code Zero becoming a massive hit after its release, and as the associate lead artist, he would become a giant in the gaming industry. Lost in this fantasy, the junior said with delight, "Don't worry, bro. I even turned down an internship at Blizzard that my senior recommended to me. I'm all in with you and CEO Wei." Rennie nodded in satisfaction. "Give me the revised art by tonight." The junior, Omega to Omega, he was still too naive. His senior year was probably the busiest of Weibo's 4 years in university. In the first semester of his senior year, Lingxi Industrial Park went into operation. Lingxi entered its Series B financing. Due to rapid growth in user scale and revenue, the risk shifted from model validation to scalability. The supply chain and operational efficiency were all testing Weibo. As an entrepreneur, this stage was even more difficult for him than the initial startup phase. Correspondingly, his one-on-one tutor changed from his aunt to his future mother-in-law. This one was much harder to deal with than his aunt, often causing Weibo sleepless nights and forcing him to continue his studies and work the next day with dark circles under his eyes. Fortunately, his growth was also rapid. Weibo's ability to handle various problems independently improved swiftly, and his market intuition became sharper and more objective. According to his plan, Lingxi would enter a mature stage in the next 3 to 5 years, forming a stable profit model, achieving the #1 market share in the country, and making a full push into the international market. This stage was also when Lingxi would prepare to go public and enter the capital market. While Weibo was busy with his career, his classmate Xie was busy with her studies. Xie had confirmed that she would continue her studies with the world's top mathematician, Professor Lei Xiang, to conduct research in pure mathematics. Her aim was to use manifold theory to improve the statistical framework of brain-computer interfaces in order to more accurately quantify the differences in brain connectivity, as well as to develop new algorithms to build and optimize models. Although their math scores have been similar in the past, the mathematics Xie was now studying was something Weibo could no longer understand. One day during the second semester of their senior year, Weibo and Xie were studying together in the study. He worked for a while, then stood up to stretch. He accidentally glanced at Xie's calculation interface, and his eyes widened instinctively. What was this? Was this math? This was clearly a foreign language and gibberish, wasn't it? Isn't it beautiful? Simp looked up and asked. Weibo nodded. So beautiful. Xia, the math student, was so beautiful, especially with her black hair casually pinned up and her slightly hazy eyes from studying. So beautiful. Weibo thought to himself. When Xia asked if it was beautiful, did she have something else in mind? He was also tired from work and wanted to relax with some exercise. Simp blinked. I meant the math. Weibo. Beautiful. Was this beautiful? Beautiful. Weibo said with righteous conviction. Mathematics is the foundation of everything. How could it not be beautiful? Beautiful. This is so beautiful. He should probably just get back to work. Many people say that university ends after the first semester of junior year. Starting from the second semester of junior year, students begin preparing for graduate school entrance exams, civil service exams, law exams, and internships at major companies. Life enters a completely new rhythm, and university students gradually adapt to their adult identities. For Weibo, who had started his own business in his freshman year, although his junior and senior years were busy and he acted more like a mature entrepreneur, the rhythm of his life hadn't changed much. He was still living the university life he loved. It wasn't until he finished his thesis defense and took his graduation photos that he felt he had reached a new end in his life, which was also a new beginning. Just as they had once talked about, Pan Kong had successfully secured a spot in graduate school. Zhou Yan was planning a graduation trip. Ning Guoqiao was preparing to go to the capital after graduation to participate in a new director training program initiated by several major directors in the industry. As for Wei Bai, he was still as busy as he was in his freshman year, leading his enterprise to one peak after another. June 23rd was Haida University's graduation ceremony. On this day, Wei Bai, along with classmate Xie, put on the large, loose black robes. Are you nervous? Before leaving the house, Wei Bai heard classmate Xie ask this. It was just a small speech as the graduate representative. What was there to be nervous about? He wasn't nervous, but Wei Bai felt a little melancholy in his heart. These 4 years of university life were the most joyful and unforgettable 4 years of his life, and also the 4 years of his most rapid growth. In these 4 years, he had accumulated many precious memories and received help from many classmates and teachers. For years like this had just ended, and today was the day he would say goodbye to these 4 years, to his teachers and classmates. That's not right. Classmate Xie was going to study at Haida for another 3 years as a graduate student, and he would also be living with her in Langxin Garden near Haida. He would probably go to the university often to study, eat, and run with her. Thinking of it this way, although he was graduating, he couldn't really say he was bidding farewell to Haida. Could he? Wei Bai's melancholy vanished, replaced by a touch of excitement. He was quite proud to be chosen as the graduate representative. Moreover, Old Wei and Ms. Wu were coming to his graduation ceremony today. Being able to let Old Wei and Ms. Wu witness his moment of glory, while also providing them with some material to show off on their WeChat moments, made Wei Bai feel pretty good. Although the material of this kind he usually provided for Old Wei and Ms. Wu was a bit much, it couldn't be helped. Who asked him to be so outstanding? After straightening his robe and holding his cap, Wei Bai took classmate Xie's hand and went out. So many black robes, Wei Bai said with a smile as they walked onto campus. It's like we've entered Hogwarts. Simp tilted her head slightly to look at him. When in doubt, go to the library. Whose line was that again? It sounded like Hermione, the clever, proud, brave, fearless, and reliable Hermione. Under the summer sun, a splendid, warm golden light coated classmate Xie's hair. Wei Bai looked at her and thought to himself, his classmate Xie was even more clever, proud, brave, and fearless than Hermione. The graduation ceremony was held in the central auditorium. Wei Bai had to separate from classmate Xie and find a seat in his respective college's section. Brother Bai, over here. Zhou Yan stood up and waved at Wei Bai. Wei Bai walked over, and after sitting down, he saw a message from Ms. Wu on his phone. She, Old Wei, and his aunt had already arrived at the parents' section. Wei Bai stood up and looked towards the parents' area. In the dense crowd, It was easy to spot the two female celebrities, fully armed with hats and masks. Way by. Dressed like this, wouldn't you two attract even more attention? The ceremony proceeded, one item after another. It was time for the graduate representative's speech. Wei Bai waited by the side of the stage in advance, and under everyone's watchful eyes, he walked step by step towards the auditorium stage. After his opening remarks, he introduced himself with a smile. "Hello, everyone. I am Wei Bai." Whoosh! Thunderous applause erupted from below the stage, and some people were even shouting Wei Bai's name. Amid the noisy and lively atmosphere, Wei Bai suddenly thought of the scene at his high school's 100-day pledge rally. That was in the spring, and the high school seniors were far less cheerful than the university graduates. But the high school seniors were full of fighting spirit, another version of youth. Back then, just like now, he had gone on stage to give a speech as the representative for the 100-day pledge rally. What did he say that day? He would not forget. After the pre-written script, he said, word by word, "Finally, I want to leave you with a sentence I said at the high school 100-day pledge rally. I climbed to the top of the mountain not to let the world see me, but for me to see the world. The future is here. I wish all my fellow students a brave departure, to go to higher and farther places." His voice was not particularly passionate, but it was firm and powerful. After a brief silence, applause erupted like a tidal wave. Wei Bai bowed slightly. When he straightened up again in the crowd, he could only see classmate Xie's pair of bright, beautiful eyes. "Happy graduation, classmate Xie." He mouthed silently. Immediately, he saw those eyes curve into a smile. The owner of the eyes raised both arms and made a big heart shape. "Wow, so cute." Wei Bai walked off the stage cheerfully and returned to the crowd. Man, Wei Bai is so mature now," Sun Xiuxiu exclaimed. Everyone had just graduated from university. She still felt like a raw recruit, but Wei Bai already had the aura of CEO. Xiam Yuman's gaze followed the person she loved until his figure blended into the crowd. Both mature and childish. Just like all those years ago, brilliant and brave, filled with a youthful spirit. This evaluation, Sun Xiuxiu laughed. That's true. CEO Wei is different from other domineering CEOs. He had a unique charisma and conviction that was quite inspiring. Man, Sun Xiuxiu leaned in and whispered, "Don't forget me after graduation. Remember to send me an invitation when you get married." Man and Zuozua were both continuing their graduate studies at the same university. Yuan was a local, and Xiaoxia had also joined the Haiqing affiliated hospital. The four of them would definitely see each other often. Only she had chosen a job at a big company. After the graduation ceremony, she would have to return to Shenzhen to continue her life as a workhorse. She didn't know when they would meet again. "Okay." Xiam Yuman looked at Sun Xiuxiu and said slowly, "I'll be waiting for your new lyrics." Sun Xiuxiu. She almost forgot she was a workhorse juggling two jobs. But with Xiam Yuman's words, the sorrow of parting was finally diluted a little. On stage, the principal was giving a speech. Scenes from her 4 years of university life flashed before Sun Xiuxiu's eyes. In these 4 years, she had met people who were like protagonists from a campus novel and witnessed their very different lives. At the same time, she had also spent 4 very unforgettable years. The first day of school, dragging her suitcase onto campus, meeting classmates from all over the country for the first time, pulling an all-nighter in the library for the first time. All of this came to a complete end today. The life of a workhorse was not as simple and pure as campus life. There were many difficult times during her internship, but just as Wei Bo had said, the future is already here, so let's set out bravely. She believed that these 4 years would become the most important nourishment in her life. The graduation ceremony gradually came to an end. Many trivial, mischievous, serious, and exhausting days had all become precious. Nothing from the past would ever come again. But every day of the future was worth looking forward to. Countless academic caps were thrown into the sky, and the cheers were deafening. Xiam Yuman weaved through the crowd, heading towards the direction of the computer science department. Before she got there, she saw Wei Bo also walking towards her. All the noise, cheers, and tears of joy continued. But at this moment, everything became background noise. After a few seconds of delay, The two walked towards each other, smiled, and embraced tightly. Happy graduation, classmate Simp. Happy graduation, classmate Weibo. Not far from the two, Wu Ruxin took the last photo for her 9-picture grid, a photo of bye-bye and man-man embracing. Yuli watched as Wu Ruxin eagerly started posting on her moments and smiled. I'll steal your picture later. Wu Ruxin, take it, take it. Just a few minutes after posting on her moments, Wu Ruxin had already received dozens of likes and over 10 comments. A quick glance showed that the comments were all full of envy and jealousy. Wu Ruxin was extremely pleased and began to reply to the comments on her moments. Oh, what did I do to cultivate them? It's all the children's own hard work. It's also worrisome. He's too busy with work, attending this meeting and that banquet all day. I often advise him to rest. Yes, she's my daughter-in-law. Isn't she beautiful? She's planning to continue her graduate studies, researching some world-class mathematical problem. Old Wei saw Wu Ruxin showing off in the comments and whispered, "Don't be so high-profile." Wu Ruxin gave him a look. You're telling me to be low-profile? You attended the graduation ceremony and posted 6 times on moments. The family group chat is flooded with your posts. Old Wei coughed softly a few times. That's because everyone was asking me. Wu Ruxin gave him an, I'm just watching you perform look, then refresh her moments, but didn't see you Li's post. Lily, you didn't post on moments? Wu Ruxin asked. Yuli, oh, I stole your picture and posted it on Weibo. Wu Ruxin. Hashtag Weibo Simp graduation, hashtag Weibo graduation student representative, hashtag Simp Weibo embrace in the crowd, hashtag. During graduation season, there would always be a few trending topics about graduation. This year's trending topics were dominated by Weibo. Netizens were filled with sincere blessings for a real couple, especially a real couple of top students, and especially a real couple who had made outstanding contributions to all of humanity. In the past, there had been some doubts that their relationship was too high profile and some talk of breaking up after graduation. But now, those comments had almost disappeared. There was even a portion of netizens who, upon seeing Weibo and Simuman's names on the trending list, would subconsciously start commenting, so sweet, 99, when are you getting married? When are you having a baby? When are you getting married? Weibo saw such a comment among the many others. That's right, he and classmate Xie had already reached the legal age for marriage. They could completely transition from fiancés to a legally married couple. The thought of soon becoming legal made Weibo feel particularly wonderful. But before that, he had one more important thing to do, and that was the concert. As a professional musician, Weibo had always wanted to hold his own concert. Saving up works, making plans, practicing singing. Finally, he was going to hold a concert. The date was set for December 10th, giving him half a year to prepare. Weibo took his first ever concert very seriously, personally handling many aspects, all to present the best possible show, to be worthy of the fans who came to see him, and also to propose. Proposing at the concert, Weibo thought to himself, this time, classmate Xie can't possibly beat me to it again, right? From confessing his love to getting engaged and proposing, classmate Xie had always been one step ahead. This time, Weibo was determined to win. I have to write the best song of my musical career for the proposal. The weather in June was rainy, and amidst the sound of the rain, inspiration came with a particular frenzy. At Makeo Culture Studio, Weibo sat at the piano and wrote down a line, "Let's get married in the evening." Shouting, "Min, are you ready? Tao Min, ready. Yinzi go. 3 minutes later, Xiao Ying and Yinzi saw Tao Min, with full makeup and hair done, darting around in her electric wheelchair. Her electric wheelchair was even equipped with a futuristic double-sided display screen and a robotic arm smaller than a human arm. The electric wheelchair glided in front of Xiao Ying and Yinzi, and a line of text appeared on the screen. "My sisters are so beautiful." Xiao Ying, Yinzi. It seemed that fate favored the optimistic. 3 years had passed, and Tao Min's condition hadn't worsened much, which meant this girl could still talk, although it was a bit slurred and took some effort. But now she was used to controlling things with her mind and was too lazy to speak. Min, you have to talk," Xiao Ying urged. "Use it or lose it." Tao Min was very reluctant. A line of text appeared on the screen. even accompanied by an emoji. Mind control is awesome. Kitty with hands on hips. JPG Xiao Ying. 3 years ago, she would never have imagined this day. Forget it, forget it. She would battle with Tao Min about talking later. Right now, they had to hurry to Wei Bai's concert. Xiao Ying lowered her head and sent a message to Lu Chong. All set. Lu Chong, give me 2 minutes. He said 2 minutes, and it was 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, Lu Chang's car appeared in front of Xiao Ying. Tao Min skillfully drove her electric wheelchair forward, locked the brakes, and then got in the back seat with Xiao Ying and Yinzi's help. Xiao Ying folded the wheelchair in a few swift movements, put it in the trunk, and then sat in the passenger seat. I saw online that there are 3 mysterious guests today. Xiao Ying said excitedly, classmate Xie, sister Wu, my brother Mao, it must be these 3. Lu Chong smiled. If I said I don't know, would you believe me? Xiao Ying, I don't believe you. Lu Chong, I really don't know. Xiao Ying, then is my brother Mao there? Lu Chong, yes. Xiao Ying beamed. The group chatted and laughed as they drove towards the Haicheng Stadium. The closer they got to the stadium, the more congested the roads became. After nearly an hour's drive, the 4 of them got out of the car and saw that a large crowd had already gathered in the plaza. Many people were taking photos and checking in with the promotional video playing on the stadium's large LED screen. Looks like a lot of people who couldn't get tickets are planning to listen from outside, Yinzi said. A line of text quickly appeared on Tao Min's screen. Thank you, Xiao Ying. Thank you, Brother Chong. Ever since her best friend started dating Lu Chong, she had access to insider tickets for concerts, had gotten autographed photos of Wei Bai and Chun Mao, and had even taken pictures with them in person. So awesome. This life was so worth it. She skillfully got back in her wheelchair and queued up to enter. After settling into their front row seats in the infield, Tao Min glanced over and saw that the friend next to her was also in a wheelchair and also had a display screen and a robotic arm. Typing was just one of Lingxi's applications. There couldn't be many fellow patients in Haicheng with the same setup as her, right? Under the infield lights, Tao Min looked closely at the patient beside her. She was immediately shocked, turned the screen to the right, and then 2 words appeared on the screen. Brother Deng? Deng Honyuan hadn't expected to meet a fellow patient with the same setup in the infield. Although they were strangers, being able to sit here meant that the other person was also a friend of Wei Bai's. Deng Honyuan enthusiastically started chatting with her. The 2 of them, with their 2 electronic screens and 2 robotic arms, hit it off immediately. Xiao Ying and Yinzi were stunned by the scene. Their animated conversation only came to a temporary halt when the concert countdown began. Chapter 593. I approve of Wei Bai and Xian Yuman's marriage. The lights went out, plunging everything into darkness. Suddenly, a beam of light hit the stage. At a black grand piano sat a man in a tuxedo. His fingers pressed down on the keys, and the sound of the piano flowed out. Correction tape whites out the date. Returning to the year we first met, balloons escape in the square, drawing a perfect half-heart circle. A smile drifts across the crosswalk. My gaze follows it around a few turns. Every time a glass window opens and closes, I happen to see your side profile. So beautiful. Xiao Ying was captivated. The first song was his hit, A Song with No Name. For it to open in such a beautiful way, as a fan, she was in bliss. But why was it the female version being sung? Just as this question flashed through her mind, with a click, all the surrounding lights went out. Let's welcome classmate Xie. Wei Bai's voice, tinged with a smile, came through. Immediately, a beam of blue light hit the stage screen. The screen seemed to shatter as if torn apart by the light, revealing a deep, spinning vortex-like tunnel, resembling a passage through time. What came first was the beautiful and moving voice of a girl singing. You turn and the corner of your shirt lifts, stirring up the entire summer's anticipation. The clock hands hover at 1, and orange hard candy cracks on the tip of my tongue, like everyone else in the audience. Xiao Ying stared intently at that fissure. First, a blurry silhouette appeared. Then it gradually became clear. The monsoon ocean currents I memorized, bypass your not-yet-dry jersey. The corner of the test paper lifted by the wind, curls with the chirping cicadas of a 17-year-old summer. Like a girl who had traveled through a rift in time and space, she, dressed in a school uniform, walked out of the vortex. Ah, ah, Xiaoying couldn't help but scream along with the people around her. So beautiful, so lovely, so sweet. What a surprise. She never expected to see the little couple together at the opening, starting with a duet. Ah! Forceful, muffled screams came from beside her. Shouting, Min, aren't you the quiet type? Why are you screaming so loudly? On stage, the girl in the school uniform slowly walked toward the piano. The man playing the piano sang with ever-deepening emotion. This short walk made Xiaoying's heart pound wildly. Those who understood the significance of this walk, just like her, were truly blessed. This walk simply exuded a sense of fate, of time and space intersecting. Coupled with their two impeccable voices, it was a brand new interpretation of a song with no name. Ah! It was a lethal blow. The atmosphere was too beautiful, too enchanting, and the third scream of the night erupted completely only after the final note of this song faded. At this moment, the little couple, separated by the piano, finally stood together, holding hands in the center of the stage. The girl in the school uniform exited, and the second song began. Wei Bai's musical style had a pop foundation, like a summer breeze, possessing a flow like running water. He rarely had forceful expressions. Even his high notes were sung with clarity, and his ability to convey emotion was top-notch. Xiaoying gradually became lost in the music. She sang along softly, and for some reason, tears welled up. This was clearly a very warm song. So was she moved? Sob. Only by listening to a concert like this in person did she realize that on some singing shows, it wasn't fake when the audience was moved to tears. One hit song after another played, and the cheers in the venue were endless. In a VIP box in the stands, at the very best spot, Simp watched the man on stage intently. He had changed his outfit and stood quietly in the center of the stage, singing. His voice was impossibly gentle, suffused in the meticulously designed lighting. As he sang, his figure turned towards Simu's direction. Across the sea of people, Simp was certain of his gaze. He was looking at her, waving her light stick. The corners of Simp's mouth gently curved upward. In the middle to rear section of the stadium, Hua Jingxian lowered her head, her mouth close to her walkie-talkie. Next up is Chun Mao. Assemble after it's over. Is everyone in position? Xiaoxia. Group 1, all in position. Shui Yunxin. Group 2, all in position. Yuli. Group 3, all in position. Hua Jingxian. Good. 2 songs left in the countdown. At this time, on stage, Wei Bai was singing a duet, Spring Wind Lulls to Sleep, with Ms. Wu Ruxin. Hua Jingxian listened quietly until the song ended, then immediately brought the walkie-talkie to her mouth. 1 song left in the countdown. The intro to Half a Rainy Day began to play. Holding transparent umbrellas and wearing white dresses, the backup dancers moved gracefully with the music. Singing, Wei Bai walked out from the edge of the stage. Half a Rainy Day was the second to last song. The next one would be his new song, Let's Get Married at Dusk, which he had never sung in public and had not even formally recorded yet. The feet of the rain disrupt the intersection's tacit understanding / yet point you towards me / as if fate secretly pressed the confirm button / Wei Bai looked towards the stands. It looked like a dark mass from his view, with only countless light sticks waving. But among the tens of thousands of light sticks, Wei Bai could easily see classmate Xia's spot. Even in complete darkness, he could still see her sparkling eyes. Half a song of a rainy day / half a song of you. Half a love song / just enough for me to hide inside. The umbrella's brim is too low / the world is left with only your breath. I use my tiptoes / to turn my affection into ripples. Hua Jingxian, ready. On stage, Wei Bai's singing continued. If the rain / keeps falling until tomorrow, can we then / as a matter of course, turn goodbye into see you tomorrow? The unfinished half sentence along the eaves secretly sprouts. The rain has stopped, the song has stopped. OHWO. Hua Jingxian. 3, 2, 1, go. Half a Rainy Day ended. As the final song on the concert set list, its conclusion signified the end of the nearly 3-hour-long event. Wei Bai stood in the center of the stage, took a deep breath, raised the microphone, and prepared to introduce the new song. This next song is one you've never heard before, not even Miss Sia, because its name is Let's Get Married at Dusk. The introduction was simple. The rest was written in the lyrics. Everything was quickly rehearsed in his mind, just as Wei Bai was about to start. Swish, the lights of the entire venue went out. What's going on? He hadn't designed this lighting effect. Could it be a power outage? No way, he still had the most important song left to sing. Suddenly, a clear, singing voice drifted over. Wei Bai looked up. It was from Miss Xie in the stands. Half a song of a rainy day, / half a song of you. Half a love song / just enough for me, / to ask a question. Through mornings, evenings, and years / crossing mountains and seas together. For the long days to come / shall we get married / okay? Swish, a light suddenly came on, but not on the stage. It was in the right rear section of the back half of the venue, directly facing Wei Bai. Wei Bai looked over and saw a sea of light-up signs suddenly illuminate. I am Xiao Xia. I am Dabao. Emily Exon, I am Qi Wenhao. I am Zhuo Yishuan. Click. The light shifted position, illuminating the left rear section. I am Shui Yunxin. I am Ning Wuchao. I am Zhou Yin. Whoosh. The very center of the back half of the venue suddenly lit up. I am Hua Jingxian. I am Wu Ruxin. I am Yu Li. I am Wei Laifu in that instant. The large LED screen behind them lit up, and a line of dazzling words was imprinted on everyone's eyes. I approve of Wei Bai and XIM Human's marriage. End of main text. Epilogue 1. What happened at the end of that day? What happened at the end of that day? Of course it was Wei Bai in front of the massive crowd, stating firmly, I am Wei Bai, and I also approve. But, damn it, he had been preempted again. What was even more infuriating was that the trending topics on social media that night were all plastered with his dumbfounded face at being proposed to, as well as the expressions of him taking a deep breath and psyching himself up to propose after finishing half a rainy day. Combined with his final song, Let's Get Married at Dusk, netizens quickly deduced the truth. Hashtag WeiBaiSim in the Great Proposal Battle. Hashtag WeiBaiS expression after being preemptively proposed. A hashtag Umenhaflosung Stado Propose. Hashtag WeiBai's song proposona step too slow. Hashtag things went on late into the night. And Wei Bai didn't see these trending topics until the next day. That's right, even on the second day, these hashtags were still in the top 5. Does your entertainment industry not have any other major news? Being beaten to the punch by Miss Xie and having the whole internet know about it left Wei Bai feeling both touched and helpless. There was even a little bit of anger, so he rolled over and teased her for another half hour. He only stopped when Miss Xie admitted defeat and begged for mercy. In the Great Proposal Battle, Wei Bai had lost utterly. Let's Get Married at Dusk, however, became a massive hit, topping the new songs chart before it was even officially released. Wei Bai was exasperated. Fortunately, the triumphant Miss Xie wholeheartedly agreed with the suggestion to get married at dusk. And so, at dusk on the first day after the concert ended, the two dressed up and, catching the sunset glow just before the Civil Affairs Bureau closed, officially became a legally married couple. Holding the little red marriage certificate, Wei Bai was in a bit of a daze. A legally married couple. They were legal. Wait, it wasn't like they were illegal before, right? So, dropping the legal, he and Miss Xie were a married couple. Without the prefix unmarried, they were now a real married couple. From the moment he received the red certificate, Wei Bai felt like the whole world had changed. Love and responsibility, warmth and home, the 4 seasons, and every day. If you were to describe it in words, wasn't much different from the days before. But only those who are married truly know it's completely different. She is not my girlfriend, not my fiancée. She is my partner, lover, wife, honey. Walking out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, they looked up to a sky full of colorful clouds. Wei Bai lowered his head slightly, leaned close to classmate Xie's ear, and grinned. Wife. HM? Xie Yuman tilted her head slightly. Some phrases have magic. For example, when the word wife was spoken from the little turtle's mouth, it made her heart tremble as if struck by electricity. Wife. What a beautiful word. So, Xie Yuman stood on her tiptoes and leaned close to his ear. Hubby. That evening, the trending topics on every social media app exploded again. It was because Wei Bai and Simp had simultaneously posted pictures of their marriage certificates in the sky, full of colorful clouds from when they registered. They really got married just like they said. At dusk, just like they said. Ah, so much happiness. A match made in heaven, born to be a pair. I've known Bai Bai and Man Man for 3 or 4 years now, since our freshman year. Seeing them go all this way to their happy ending is so touching. Knowing that there are people in this world who love each other so genuinely puts my mind at ease. The people of Haicheng send their congratulations, wishing President Wei and eldest Miss Xie a sweet life and a son soon. Jingcheng sends its congratulations, wishing President Wei and eldest Miss Xie a long and happy life together. Xincheng sends its congratulations. Simp was very satisfied. Simp liked and kept on liking. Simp held a lottery in the comments section for 100 red envelopes, each worth 1,000. Simp logged out of Weibo and opened Douyin. Simp was still liking posts. Simp was still giving out red envelopes in a lottery. Yaya, hurry. Go to eldest Miss Xie's comment section and enter the red envelope lottery. They're 1,000 each. A rich heiress really is generous. In the 6-person dorm room, Suya's roommate on the bottom bunk called out to her. Suya opened her phone, staring blankly at the word married blazing in red on the trending list. By the way, Yaya, aren't you from Luqing too? Do you know Wei Bai and Simp? Another roommate with short hair asked. Plink. A teardrop fell on her face. Suya secretly wiped it away and shook her head. I don't know them. I don't know them, and I will never know them again. She thought she would stay in the Northwest and never return to Luqing. That makes sense, said the short-haired roommate. You're 2 years younger than them, so it's normal not to know them. President Wei is so handsome and capable, and he sings so well. If only my future boyfriend could be half as good as President Wei. The short-haired roommate daydreamed. Suya's bottom bunk roommate laughed. Then you'd have to be half as good as Simp. The short-haired roommate. Simp is a goddess. I can't even compare to 1/10 of her. But Yaya could probably reach half, right? The bottom bunk roommate. Oh, but it's a pity Yaya only is studying on her mind and isn't interested in boys. The short-haired roommate. That's right, Yaya. So many guys have pursued you since freshman year. Why have you rejected all of them? Suya stared at Wei Bai's smiling face on the marriage certificate on her screen. She choked up for a long time before managing to say a single sentence. I don't like them. Then who do you like? The short-haired roommate asked curiously. You don't have someone in your heart already, do you? Is a high school classmate? Sigh. I had a crush on the top student in my class back in high school. He was scholarly, got good grades, and had a gentle personality. But he was snatched up right after graduation, so I never stood a chance. No, there's no one, so you put her phone away and smiled. Stop asking. Have you all finished your homework? The short-haired roommate stuck out her tongue. I'll do it tomorrow. The bottom bunk roommate was eating a tangerine. She reached her arm up and handed half to the top bunk. Suya took the tangerine and said, Thank you. This tangerine is actually quite sweet, the bottom bunk roommate said with sudden excitement. I want a red envelope. 1,000 yuan. I'm treating everyone to dinner tomorrow night. The tangerine was so sour. Suya forced herself to swallow it. So damn cold. That damned old man only knows how to drink and play cards. He won't even light a stove. Is he trying to freeze him to death? And he keeps nagging him to go out and work to support the family. He was destined to be a big boss. How could he possibly work a menial job? Zhen Hongxian curled up under the stiff, cotton-stuffed quilt, staring with burning jealousy at his cracked phone screen, grinding his molars until he tasted blood. Damn you, Wei Bai. You stole everything from me. And now you've married a fair, rich beauty. This must be a test from the heavens. Once I find Yaya and make a comeback, I will become a big boss, make a fortune, and bankrupt Wei Bai. Yaya, where are you? Your brother Xian misses you so much here in Luqing. In the spring of the first year after graduating from university, Wei Bai and Simp held their wedding in Luqing, held a homecoming banquet in Jingcheng, and then began their honeymoon. In 1 month's time, they traveled to many places around the world. At every place they went, they would take a photo of the two of them together. Weibo flooded his Weibo feed with these photos, receiving unanimously positive comments from netizens. Even if you're Weibo, you can't flex on us singles like this. We get it. Your wife is beautiful. Can you stop posting now? Damn it, one more post? And I'm blocking you. Every single photo is mocking me. Who just got broken up with? I believe in love again. I just don't believe I'll ever have a love like this. You're still out there traveling? Has Linksy gone public yet? Does it have a #1 market share in the world yet? Everyone is saying our pictures look great, that we look so good together, and wishing us a happy trip, Weibo said to classmate Xie. Simp logged out of Weibo and confirmed that was indeed the case. MHM. The two blissfully concluded their round-the-clock honeymoon. In June, they returned to Haicheng. This was their moving month. Weibo and Simp moved into their marital home. Weibo had bought the house at the end of last year. It was a detached villa situated at the intersection of bustling city life and tranquility, just a half-hour drive from both Hai University and Linksy. Simp had personally drawn the design plans, which were brought to life by Haicheng's top designers and renovation team. After half a year, they were finally moving in. Moving in with them was classmate Wei Laifu, who showed some panic and unease at the suddenly larger and more luxurious home. Weibo also felt a little unfamiliar with the house. It suddenly became this beautiful after the soft furnishings were brought in. The unique courtyard style of Grand Xia was tranquil and private, yet filled with warmth and a modern feel. Classmate Xia, this is the most beautiful house I've ever seen. Weibo, who had been completely hands-off with the renovation, expressed his thoughts. Little Xia, you did a great job. As for why Weibo had been so hands-off, was it because he was too busy or too lazy? No, it was neither. It was because he had a clear understanding of himself. When it came to architectural aesthetics, trusting classmate Xia was the right choice. Passing through the courtyard and entering the house, one half was double height while the other was sunken, creating a dynamic, multi-leveled look. In the double height space, the kitchen was to the west and the living room to the north, with only a single centered stone island separating them. The other side of the kitchen was a wall of glass windows. Pushing them open, the garden was framed like a picture. Weibo imagined himself cooking in the kitchen in the future, looking up to see classmate Xia watering the flowers in the courtyard. A gentle breeze would blow as he chatted with her while preparing dinner. The villa had both an elevator and a staircase. The stairs were on the north side of the living room, with oak treads leading up to the 4 bedrooms on the second floor. Aside from the walk-in closet, each room had its own en-suite bathroom. The master bedroom was exactly as Weibo had always imagined his own room to be. A black, white, and gray color scheme, with the crowns of parasol trees and the azure sky visible beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. This one next to it must be the guest room, right? Weibo pushed the door open and went in. This is a child's room? He wasn't sure, so he took a closer look. Yep, he was sure this time. Weibo backed out and walked to the next room. This one must be the guest room, right? It seems to be another child's room. He looked again. Yep, it was definitely a child's room. Weibo backed out. He got it. 2 kids. Classmate Xia, isn't this a bit too early to prepare? Weibo said, I was hoping for a few more years of just the 2 of us. Simp nodded. MHM, we'll send them to Lucheng as soon as they're weaned. Weibo, Sigma. Oh wait, how did we suddenly jump to weaning? Weaning? Weibo's gaze shifted down, then up again, and he said with a serious expression, let's talk about it next year, or the year after, or the year after that. He imagined how wonderful it would be if they had 2 little classmates, Xies. But if they had a little Weibo. No way. He was too much of a troublemaker as a child. Weibo decided to delay it a bit longer. Next year, he would only be 23. 23 was too young, and 24 was a bit early too. Being a dad at 25 sounded pretty good though. Weibo made up his mind to stall. Fortunately, classmate Xie didn't object. Weibo didn't let his guard down. Knowing her as he did, his dear wife was definitely scheming something. The two hadn't truly reached an agreement on the matter, and the discussion about when the children's rooms would be put to use came to a temporary close. As they reached the 3rd floor, his dear wife suddenly spoke up. We'll start preparing tomorrow, get pregnant the year after next, and the baby will be born the year after that. His dear wife's voice held the confident smile of a master strategist. We have an agreement, MHM. Weibo, huh? Weibo? It sounds like there's nothing wrong with that. So, for now, we'll go with this plan. On the 3rd floor, besides 2 guest rooms with en-suite bathrooms, The rest of the space was for storage. The fourth floor was a flexible space, currently divided into a study and an exercise/dance studio. There was also a media room and laundry area in the basement, and a swimming pool and garage on the other side of the first floor. This was going to be his and classmate Xie's home from now on. Wei Bai's heart settled down. He felt that this was much more comfortable than any house or five-star hotel he had ever stayed in. Why was that? Perhaps it was because the word home had a special kind of magic. National Day holiday. Wei Bai and classmate Xie returned to Lucheng together to attend the wedding of Xiao Xia and Liao Yinan. Liao Yinan, like classmate Xie, was still in graduate school, while Xiao Xia was already the mature nurse Xiao Xia. Because she had studied in a targeted program at Hai University, Xiao Xia signed an employment agreement with a hospital in Haicheng before graduation and was required to work there for 3 years. Wei Bai had already arranged with Xiao Xia that once her service period was over and Lingxi Rehabilitation Hospital was completed, she could come work at Lingxi. Wei Bai also wanted to recruit Liao Yinan to Lingxi, but unfortunately, the great Liao was dedicated to an academic path. After finishing his master's, he planned to pursue a doctorate with the ultimate goal of becoming a university professor. Xiao Xia's wedding was very lively. Many old friends who hadn't seen each other in a long time gathered from all over the country to witness her happiness. Zhuo Yixuan and 3 of Xiao Xia's childhood friends were her bridesmaids. For the surprise segment, Wei Bai and Simp Yumin sang a duet of Let's Get Married in the Evening. Wearing her wedding dress, Xiao Xia cried until her makeup was ruined. Leaving the stage, Simp Yumin looked back at Xiao Xia on the stage, who was crying and choking up as she spoke. She sighed softly. This time, she's really married off. Wei Bai, where did that come from? What did it really mean? Was there a fake time before? Simp Yumin blinked. Xiao Xia finally grew her hair long. Her long, curly hair was styled in a half-updo, and she wore a long veil. She looked beautiful. Wei Bai then stopped dwelling on the words really married off, assuming classmate Xie had just said it casually. Yeah, Wei Bai laughed. She's been talking about growing her hair long for big waves since college, and she finally did it for her wedding. This silly girl, doesn't she know that long hair can make you look shorter? Extra Chapter 3. Codename Number 0. Codename Number 0 will be officially released tomorrow at 10 a.m. Holy crap. I waited 2 years. Is this game finally finished? Lugo has announced the release twice before and didn't deliver. This isn't another case of crying wolf, is it? No way. Lugo made a solemn vow this time. He said he'll go bald if it's not released. Such a ruthless man. Damn. All right, I'll trust him one more time. Lugo said on Weibo that the soundtrack for Number 0 is by a huge name. It's making me excited even though I don't play single-player games. Lugo and CEO Wei are alumni, and he even posted a photo of them together on Weibo. Could the soundtrack for Number 0 have been composed by CEO Wei? CEO Wei personally composing the score for a game? The person above me sure has a wild imagination. Besides, just because Lugo says it's a big name, does that make it so? Can you believe a word that comes out of his mouth? Putting other things aside, I've watched the teaser trailers several times. If the game's quality is really this good, I'll accept it even if the gameplay is trash. Lugo might be a dog, but he spent 3 years honing this one sword. The sincerity is there. I'll definitely support it. Lu Rennie scrolled through the comments, a smile full of confidence on his face as he thought about the quality of Number 0. They call me Lugo now, but wait until Number 0 is released tomorrow. They'll all be calling me God Lu. The next day, 10 a.m., just 10 minutes after Number 0 was released, the entire internet exploded. Holy crap, there are no vocals in the trailers, but the game is full of Wei Bai and Simp Yumin's voices. The scene modeling and UI are top-notch, and the soundtrack is divine. Lugo has some serious connections. This was definitely composed by Wei Bai himself. The founder of the most awesome brain computer interface company in the world composed the music for Number 0. Lugo, do you have some dirt on Wei Bai? I'm never going to curse Lugo for clout chasing again. These two are true brothers. Divine. Enough said. I'm going to go and enjoy it properly. This is my first time playing a single-player puzzle game. I'll be waiting for the pros to release tutorials. Number 0 games. Lu Rennie watched the download count in the back-end skyrocket, a smile never leaving his face. Although he was confident in the game's quality, He had spent 3 years and a ton of money on it. If it didn't sell well, how could he possibly face Wei Bai? Fortunately, it seemed that number 0 had started strong and was going viral. The sales were even higher than he had imagined. When it came to marketing, Wei Bai was still the master. Number 0 was released in the morning, and its reputation continued to grow. In the afternoon, netizens dug up the fact that Wei Bai was the actual big boss behind Number 0 and had even personally participated in the game's production. Instantly, netizens couldn't stay calm. Mu Chao culture was a rising star in the entertainment industry, and Lingxi technology was at its zenith in the new tech field. Who would have thought that Wei Bai would also put effort into the gaming industry? Through various Weibo posts and interviews, the more netizens dug, the more they found. In the end, it was basically confirmed. Hashtag Weibo made Number 0 to write a song. When Wei Bai himself saw this hashtag, he was stunned. Is that right? Never mind, it's fine even if it's not right. Anyway, the real reason he made code Number 0 was only known to him and classmate Xie. After playing code Number 0 for 2 days, Simp finally reached the side story she wanted to see. Hidden beneath the surface of modern society is the story master. This is a mysterious power that can control the words and actions of specific individuals to achieve a certain narrative. Those who are controlled are like marionettes, only able to play their roles according to a predetermined script. Mu Hui, the high school student in the side quest, is such a character. Mu Hui cannot defy the control of the predetermined plot, but due to a dream, his consciousness has awakened. He is determined to find clues and save himself. The player Number 0 is the key for him to break the shackles of the plot. According to the game's setting, when a player Number 0 descends, they are shrouded in a layer of mist. But this mist is targeted. All the NPCs in the side story can see Number 0 clearly. Only in Mu Hui's eyes is Number 0 a mysterious person shrouded in fog. Therefore, Mu Hui guesses that Number 0 is the key for him to break free from the plot's control. At the same time, Number 0 is also completing various puzzle-solving tasks with only one goal: to save Mu Hui, who is controlled by the plot. Where's Number 0? On the first floor of the school building, Mu Hui looked up at the people continuously walking down the steps, none of whom were shrouded in mist. The number of people on the steps dwindled, and Mu Hui grew anxious. She couldn't have run into some danger, could she? No, I have to go find her. Mu Hui lifted his foot to walk up the steps. Just then, he saw a strange face appear on the staircase. She was wearing a simple white t-shirt, her hair in a ponytail, and she was stunningly beautiful. She was looking at him, her eyes holding a hint of question. Mu Hui was suddenly overjoyed. Number 0, she is Number 0. He can see Number 0 now. This proves that this world has been set right. Mu Hui tentatively waved at the girl. Instantly, she moved, walking down the stairs step by step. At this moment, there were still many people on the stairs. But it's so strange. It seems like I can only see her. This strange, beautiful girl is walking towards me. After the storyline finished, Simp realized her face was covered in tears. It turned out that it wasn't that her aesthetic sense had suddenly improved by leaps and bounds, nor was it that she was so excited after the college entrance exams that she was mentally unstable, but for a reason that no one would believe even if she said it out loud. In those days as Mu Hui, how scared, how much pain, how much fear must he have felt? Simp didn't even dare to think about it, and she was completely unaware. She had clearly noticed so many things that were wrong, but she... You're done playing? Wei Bai peeked over her shoulder from behind. Simp secretly wiped her tears, revealing 2 small dimples. I'm so hungry, classmate Xie. Let's go out for a late-night snack. I want hot pot. Wei Bai half-carried, half-dragged her out of the study. Hey, classmate Xie. You didn't fail the side quest, did you? Why are you so sad? Of course not. I finished it in 20 minutes, said the little dimples. Oh, that's good then. Wei Bai forcibly put a coat on her, along with a scarf and hat. Then let's go eat hot pot. The little dimple's voice was a bit nasal when she spoke. I've logged out of the game. I wonder if Mu Hui is doing well now. Wei Bai put on his own coat and scarf. He's doing great. Maybe right now, just like us, he's about to go out for hot pot. Taking his wife's right hand and putting it in his left pocket, Wei Bai smiled. As for number 0, don't be unhappy. There are more important tasks waiting for you in this world. Miss number 0 sniffled. Hey, DeLeo. Way by? Sure. Miss number 0, through her coat, pinched a certain President Way's arm. Tell me, what else are you hiding from me? A certain Way. Nothing. Really nothing. Wife, you have to believe me. Extra Chapter 4. Wife, hungry food. Later. So later, was Muhui saved? 3-year-old Wei Yu sat on her father's lap. Her eyes, which closely resembled Siem Yuman's, blinked. Wei Bai stroked his daughter's head. Of course. After completing the side quest, number 0 successfully saved Mu Hui. The story master could no longer control Mu Hui. Wei Yu, very supportively, clapped for the story she had heard many times, then slid down from her father's arms and scurried with her short legs towards the kitchen island. Mommy, Yu is hungry. Yu wants meat. Behind the kitchen island, Siem Yuman brought out a bear-shaped plate. In its different compartments were 2 kinds of vegetables, a piece of a rib, a chicken wing, a small portion of rice, and 4 cherry tomatoes. Yu, go and sit properly at the dining table again. Seeing the dinner plate, Wei Yu's eyes immediately lit up. She scampered over to her exclusive little dining table and sat down properly. Yu is sitting properly. Siem Yuman placed the dinner plate in front of her and said gently, You have to eat all the vegetables too. Yu's eyes darted around. Okay. Yu started to eat. First, she gnawed on the pork ribs, then ate the chicken wings, then finished all the rice, and finally, slowly and methodically, she ate the 4 small tomatoes. Siem Yuman and Wei Bo stood to one side, quietly watching her performance. Honey, guess how Yu will hide the vegetables this time? Wei Bo whispered. Siem Yuman twitched the corner of her mouth. See her little hand? It looks like she's preparing to grab them in her hand. Wei Bo, she specifically chose clothes with big pockets for herself today. She must be planning to grab them in her hand first, then hide them in her pocket, and finally throw them away secretly. Siem Yuman, I loved eating vegetables when I was a child. Wei Bo, no. Is she starting to shift the blame already? Yes, it's true that he didn't like to eat vegetables as a child, but he wasn't as cunning as Wei Yu, agreeing to it while secretly planning to throw the vegetables away. I wasn't that clever when I was a child. Wei Bo also shifted the blame. Siem Yuman, to shift the blame, he actually said something like not clever as a child. Fortunately, Mrs. Wu had already told her that Wei Yu's behavior was exactly the same as Wei Bo's when he was a child. If this continues, at the age of 4, she will dare to chase chickens and dogs, and at the age of 5, she will be fighting everywhere. Wei Yu, Siem Yuman shouted angrily. Wei Yu's hand, which was about to grab the vegetables, immediately stopped, and she showed a wronged expression towards the source of the roar. Siem Yuman, some things cannot be said in front of a child. So Siem Yuman picked up her phone from the table. Classmate Xia, why hasn't Annie come to pick up the child yet? Little turtle, weren't you the one who couldn't bear to part with her? Auntie and Mrs. Wu came to ask for the child every few days, but classmate Xia couldn't bear to, and insisted on raising her until she was 3 years old. Classmate Xia, weren't you the one who couldn't bear to part with her? Little turtle, was that how it was? While chatting with classmate Xia, Wei Bo looked lovingly at the wronged mini-classmate Xia. How could he bear to part with her? Then, he looked at the full-size classmate Xia beside him. Dressed in a beige loungewear set, with her hair half tied up, she looked a bit more mature and beautiful than she did in college. Her eyebrows and eyes were the same as when he first saw her, with the gentleness of melting winter snow. Wei Bo made up his mind. Tonight he must hand over the little friend Wei Yu to Mrs. Wu, or Annie. Because, little turtle, honey, hungry, want food. I want to do to you what spring does with the cherry trees.